happening, everybody? Friday, November 15th, 2024. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. The View. Rumors are circulating. Rumors are afoot that The View may be looking for more pro-Trump voices to appear on the show. This is going to be a fun episode. This is going to be a really fun episode, I just want to say. I'll be cutting a lot of clips of this of that part of the show. We'll be sharing them out everywhere. Hopefully, look, I don't know anybody that works at ABC. But if I did, I think if I did know somebody, I think they should do me the favor of, just pitching me on The View. What could possibly go wrong there? Also, Tony Blinken has decided that he's going to funnel as much money as possible to Ukraine on his way out the door. Nancy Pelosi files for re-election at the age of 287. The Laken Riley trial has started in Georgia. Some harrowing details about that I would absolutely love to play, that I'm not going to love to play, I should say, excuse me. Stephen A. Smith has a interesting bit of nuggets for his fellow celebrities. And a Connecticut school teacher cries on TV after losing her job for threatening to kill all of you. Yeah. That's a good one. Also, at the very end of the show today, we are going to check in on our friends in New Zealand. Because apparently something happened in their parliament that one half of their parliament really, really didn't like. I don't know what the hell this is. I know what it is. But, we need more of this in American politics. That I can say for sure. Before we get started, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. We rock. We roll. Oh, where the hell's my live chat today? Where the hell is it? Boom, boom, boom. There it is. There's my live chat. Marissa, how are you? Thank you for sharing out. Angela, will I have the new merch at the train station? No, I will have it at our next event. I will have it at the next event. Gotta buy it all. So, what's going on? Let's see here. Conservative Autumn, how are you? Alex Ann, how are you? Let's see. God Chick, what's happening? You know how this way. Yeah, I know how it works. Don't worry. Yo, Kev, liked and shared, brother. Thank you so much, Bob R. Tim Huff, what is happening up in the nether regions, up yonder in New York? How's everybody doing today? We rock, we roll here. Giddy up, let's go. So, The View. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the ladies of The View. Because rumors have been circulating that producers on The View are concerned. They're starting to notice they are becoming befuddled, one would say, at their apparent anti-conservative, anti-Trump bias. Now, look, I don't know where the hell they would have gotten an idea like that from. No idea where they would have gotten that from. Jackie, message me after the show. We'll talk about it. So I don't know where they would have gotten this preposterous idea from, that they may have an anti-Trump bias. But luckily, the internet exists, and we can go back and look. Now, here is the new Department of National Intelligence head, Tulsi Gabbard, going on The View to confront them about calling her a useful idiot, a Russian stooge, a traitor to her country. Despite the fact that she's, been deployed to combat and done more than Predator and that English teacher used to do. Here is Tulsi Gabbard doing what Tulsi Gabbard does.
I want to start with something that I think is also important about facts. because recently on your show here...
I was just going to get to that.
Good. Helping you out. Some of you have
question.
accused me of being a traitor to my country, a Russian asset, a Trojan horse, or a
We haven't accused you
a
of-
useful idiot, I think was the
Well,
term that you
useful.
used. Which basically means that I'm naive or lack
That's a
intelligence
Russian
to
term.
know what's going
They
on.
use that. I guess we're getting a little bit far ahead of ourselves, but Franklin Graham finds you refreshing. He doesn't find me refreshing. Richard Spencer, the white nationalist leader, says he could vote for you.
Joy, this is why
I mean,
this
you're
is
on
why I'm
Tucker
here.
Carlson at least 10 times. Why don't you go on Chris Wallace's show?
This is why I'm here, because you and other people continue to spread these innuendos that have nothing to do with who I am.
You called her the queen of warmongers.
You double down, unfortunately, you double down on the baseless accusations that she made that strikes at the core of who I am. I'm a soldier.
We actually have the clip of Hillary Clinton, just to put this in context of what we're talking about. Let's take a look at that.
I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. That's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not, because she's also a Russian asset.
So really? I mean, this is outrageous. This is outrageous and offensive on so many levels. It's offensive to me as a soldier, as an American, as a member of Congress, as a veteran, and frankly, as a woman, to be so demeaned in
But you
such
called
a way.
her the personification of rock.
So demeaned
She's a woman
in such
too.
a way. Well, I'm pointing to the fact that she has continued this legacy of being the world's police around the world, that has waged wars costing the lives of thousands of my brothers and sisters in uniform. And
What's
to
your evidence
change,
to that?
To change.
Well, can I?
Are you
can I-
serious?
Let's hear it.
Are you serious?
Let's hear it.
I served in the war
Not
in
you,
Iraq.
her. You're saying that she's-
exactly.
she's a
I
warmonger.
served
How
in
do
the
you come
war
up with
in
that?
Iraq
Yeah.
that she championed. She championed a regime change war
Did you not
in
believe
Libya.
in that war?
I believe the lies.
She believed the lies like a lot of us did. Like a lot of us did now. With that, all that being said, once again, I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but if there was anybody I knew who might work at ABC, who might watch this show, who might come across it, who might work on a different floor of the building, who might, run into the producers in the cafeteria, just know Kevin is available. I will come in at any time because I want to remind you, Tulsi Gabbard at that time, member of Congress, under the Democratic Party. Why don't you go on Chris Wallace's show? Because nobody watches that. That's why she's not going to go on Chris Wallace's show. No one watches that. However, look, I'll be fair. I mean, look, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. Meghan McCain was still on the show. Abby Huntsman, whose father, I think, is someone, she was still on the show. Let's take it a little bit more recently. Now, if you've been watching the show over the course of the last week, you know that I've had a field day, and I've used some rather colorful language in describing the ladies of The View. I said that Whoopi Goldberg looks like Predator, which she does. I asked how she fits balls that big into fat pants, which I'm still waiting for an answer for. I may have referred to them all as basic bitches, just putting it out there. But, as I've said, the most entertaining place in the world right now is 11 a.m. on ABC. So if they're out there and they want more shellackings like they just got from Tulsi Gabbard, maybe start having on some more pro-Trump voices. But in an attempt to not show their bias, they've decided to have someone on their show to the right of Karl Marx. Here was Today with Eric Adams.
So you heard us talking about RFK Jr. being the head of HHS. What do you think about that appointment?
The executives will nominate and bring in those who they believe will move their vision forward. And everything from the fluoride issue, I believe we should have fluoride in the water based on what my experts are telling me. But let's be clear, we have a real problem with our food in our country. And we need to watch what we're feeding our children. And
What is the major problem, do you think?
too much hormones. You know, many people
additives,
know my, you know, I almost lost my sight with diabetes. The doctor told me I would be blind in a year. I was going to lose my fingers and toes. And it was my food. It wasn't my DNA. It was my dinner.
But JFK Jr. Ate
RFK Jr.
RFK Jr. ate some pork and now he has a brain worm. Is he the person that should be in charge of that?
Yeah, well, let's
food?
right. And let's understand this also. In all of these agencies, there are thousands of employees and experts that understand these topics, and there are rules, there are regulations.
Mayor, a lot of them want to resign. When they see some of the people that are going to be on top, I think there's going to be a mass exodus of people who have the institutional knowledge and the institutional memory and DOD
I would hope so,
at HHS. Who wants to work under a cook?
And let me respond to that. If we love our country, then no one individual should take us away from our mission.
Yes.
If you dedicated your life to a particular place, I dedicated my life to law enforcement. So if a new commissioner came in that I disagreed with, I was not going to say, I'm going to resign. Let's love the country. Let's love our cities. Let's get away from the rhetoric of the professionalism that we know. Those are experts in this. They're going to look at his proposal, do a real analysis, and make these decisions. It happens every day.
Shouldn't he have
Mayor,
a background at
well-
least? He should have some kind of background in this type of thing.
Let me just.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You should have some kind of background in this type of thing, as opposed to Joy Behar, who was an English teacher at my high school. But apparently now she feels qualified to run her mouth about the military, to run her mouth about the Department of Health and Human Services. And Eric Adams, who, look, he's really annoying. He continues to fund all these migrant shelters. He's not doing a great job as mayor. No one can say the guy is not health conscious. Okay? He tried to get all the kids in New York City to eat vegan food, which nobody asked for. These people cannot get out of their own bubble. So, yes, she was an English teacher at Lindenhurst High School. Not when I was there. Way before me, because she's older than Methuselah. Like yes, she taught at my high school. And then she went on to become a stand-up comic, despite the fact I've never heard her say anything funny. Not even slightly funny. Like, ha-ha, nothing. Yes. I'm proud to say that I went to 2 high schools here on Long Island, and both of them have been occupied at some time by the 2 dumbest women on The View, Joy Behar in Lindenhurst, and of course, Rosie O'Donnell in Comac. So, you know. Yeah, you know what? As a matter of fact, I think that makes me the perfect person to go on The View, just in case anyone out there might be watching. Just in case anybody out there might be watching. Now, ABC executives have denied that The View is seeking the pro-Trump perspective, but many reports suggesting The View is reevaluating its casting choices a week after Trump's sweeping victory. The ABC spokesperson told the Washington Examiner that the current panel of co-hosts is resonating with viewers. That is hilarious. The report is not true. The spokesperson told the Washington Examiner, The View is an opinion-based show featuring a diverse panel of women with different viewpoints, said this ABC spokesperson. The current panel is clearly resonating with audience given that the series just had its highest-rated episode in more than a decade and hit a 4-year high in total viewers. That's because Republicans are watching it to watch them lose their minds. Are you kidding me? I've been telling you all to watch The View all week. Garnering 4.47 million views. That is impressive for its episode after Election Day. They had a 1.4 million bump. 1.4 million viewer bump the day after Election Day. Might that have anything to do with people like, I promise you, okay? I come on at 1 o'clock. I was sitting in my living room at 10:58, like eagerly awaiting the start of that show just to watch that racist asshole Sunny Hostin lose her mind. And she did not disappoint. The meltdown began. And then when the girl they can't make famous, Sarah Haynes, tried to make some sort of relevant point, she was immediately shot down because, you see, Sonny Hostin is better than us, despite the fact that Whoopi Goldberg makes $8 million a year. $8 million a year. And the other day she called herself just a working girl. Just a working girl. Let's do the math here. Let's play a little game here. Would you consider yourself the average woman out there? There's a lot of average women watching this show, normal women going to the grocery store. Would you consider this, let's see, here we go, 8 million, that's Whoopi Goldberg's yearly salary, divided by, 8 million, divided by 52. Means Whoopi Goldberg, gross, not net, not before taxes, if I'm being fair, makes $154,000 a week. Yeah, she's just an average chick out there. Average chick struggling with the prices of milk and butter and gas. Maybe the reason why Whoopi Goldberg is having a hard time with all that is because she can't stop shoveling food into her face. I don't know. Could that be it? Might that be it? That's probably it. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Guys, so just know if there's anybody out there watching The View, I am ready, willing, and available. I mean this genuinely. Call me. I'll come in any time of day. Day, night, weekend, holiday, your birthday, Jesus' birthday, anytime you want, I will come in. It would be the honor and privilege of my life, because that way I could finally find out who the hell is that girl sitting on the end. Alyssa, Farah, whatever the hell her name is. She got a 3-namer, so she's probably a serial killer, because you know all serial killers have 3 names. Perhaps my rhetoric over the last few days has swayed people in not wanting me to go on The View. I'll even tone down my rhetoric just to entice the brilliant and phenomenal women of The View who make millions of dollars and then pretend to be just like you and me. I'll even tone it down a little bit. Perhaps it'll look a little something like this when I go on, because as I've said on this show repeatedly, upways, downways, sideways, and backways, when I grow up, wow, something must be happening here. My father's watching the show. That's never happened before. It must be a catchy title today. What's up, Dad? It might look something like this if I go on the show, because as I've said numerous times, when I grow up, I want to be Scott Jennings. Scott Jennings is, of course, the sole Republican on CNN who decided he was going to have a field day making people look stupid. Before we get to that, Mike Lindell.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog bed.
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD. Hey, Dad, look, everybody's watching. Everybody's happy to see you. What's happening, everybody? Let's say hello to everybody. Tommy Girl, how are you? Sly. Okay. Having some fun. This is the best show ever. Thank you so much, Custom Rock. Thank you. As always, you guys know I love it. Make sure you guys are hitting that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. Because, as I've said, when I grow up, I want to be Scott Jennings.
You're still looking.
Sorry. I want to be. I want. If he ever retires, I will be the first person to apply for this. Here was Scott Jennings, in his folksy sort of Southern way, basically calling everyone in the Democratic Party a liar when they saw Donald Trump in the White House with Joe Biden.
Shock. I mean, did you ever think you'd see literal Hitler in the Oval Office?
Come on,
with the
Scott.
President of the United States? I mean, you know what I see in all
Scott,
this?
that's not. I mean, Biden didn't say that literally.
It was the underpinning of the Democratic campaign that Donald Trump is a fascist. And what I see in this, I'm glad it's happening, but what it tells me and what it ought to tell Democrats is they didn't mean any of it. It was all campaign rhetoric. And I think, to me, if you really meant any of it, this wouldn't be happening. So I'm glad it's happening, but to me, it totally blows up the way they ran this campaign at the end of the campaign.
But I don't think that's fair.
Which is what I've said numerous times. When I showed you guys the Al Smith dinner, it was Eric Adams and Chuck Schumer and Letitia James and Kathy Hochul all sitting on stage with, according to them, literally Hitler. Which makes one question. And you know the answer to it. You know the answer to it because you're smart people. Either those 4 Democrats I just named were willing to share a stage with Hitler, or they were all full of shit the whole time. Not like a little bit of the time, not some of the time, not most of the time, all of the time. Because if Hitler was on stage at the Al Smith dinner, I probably wouldn't show up. The fact that the Washington Post put Hitler on the cover of their illustrious newspaper ought to show you they were full of crap the entire time. But of course, that is not the only Scott Jennings we've got today, because it just keeps getting better and better.
If we're being intellectually honest, there's really no good reason why Bobby Kennedy, RFK Jr., should be HHS secretary. An advisor, a confidant, somebody who talks to the president and advises, but there's no managerial experience in his resume. There's nothing that says he is qualified to do this job that is in charge of the health of all of us, all these different lanes. If he has views and has insights around food sources, around vaccines, then those should be given in advisory roles.
Oh, wait, real quick. I forgot to mention this about this clip. We're going to go back just a little bit because I want to give a shout out to somebody in the clip. Hold on.
Kennedy, RFK Jr., should be HHS secretary. An advisor, a confidant, somebody who talks to the president and advises, but there's no managerial experience in his resume. There's nothing that says he is qualified to do this job that is in charge of the health of all of us, all these different lanes. If he has views and has
Shout out to the biggest loser on Long Island right there. That would be John Avlon, who got his ass kicked by Nick LaLota in the New York 1 race. Good to know you are back where you're supposed to be, behind 2.5 inches of makeup on a channel nobody watches. So shout out to John Avlon, who see, this is what Democrats do. They fail up. John Avlon knew that if he lost his congressional race, he would go right back to his seat in at the desk at CNN. So shout out to John Avlon, who got his ass kicked by Nick LaLota. Now, let's get back to Scott Jennings slapping these people left ways, sideways, up ways, and down ways.
If we're being intellectually honest, there's really no good reason why. But there's no managerial experience in his resume. There's nothing that says he is qualified to do this job that is in charge of the health of all of us, all these different lanes. If he has views and has insights around food sources, around vaccines, then those should be given in advisory roles.
Why?
Because
what were the qualifications of the previous ones?
Well, I think it's important to always remember that you put yourself. Say that again?
What were the management qualifications? I mean, Xavier Becerra.
I'm not talking about the previous. I'm looking forward.
But you're calling into question whether he could actually do this job, and I think it's
absolutely. I think America is now, and I think
it's important to discuss it because Xavier Becerra was just a lawyer and a politician with no management experience.
So does two negatives, two wrongs make a right?
Sylvia Burwell was a Walmart lobbyist. Donna Shalala was a university person. Look,
RFK Jr. is a nut.
Okay, so that's different than what you just said. You just said he doesn't possess the requisite managerial experience, but then we get to the real issue here, which is you want to insult the man, which is your right to do because you opposed him in the election. But
didn't
you,
oppose RFK
Doctor,
Jr.
are raising the issues that he has been raising, and I think they're appropriate questions to raise. I don't know whether he can be confirmed or not. The vaccine stuff at the table is obviously going to be the flashpoint of this hearing. But I'll tell you one thing. This whole issue of the CDC and these public health agencies, look, public trust in the health regime in this country is as low as it's ever been.
But why,
It's
Scott?
because of COVID.
Right.
Because of school closures. Because of mask mandates. Because this country was... But let me just finish. Because this country was drugged through a bunch of condescending and heavy-handed mandates that all turned out to be garbage, and that's why it's low, and the questions are valid.
And RFK is the answer to all of that.
Yeah, but dude, RFK helped promote the assault on the CDC that lowered the disinformation that led to more than a million deaths, Scott. More than 1 million deaths in the United States, higher than any other industrialized nation per capita. That's the result of failed policies, the demonization of the conspiracy theories.
Whose policies?
All right, under the Trump administration.
John, let me let...
Of course, we've got to hear from John Avlon again. I'll be sure to be tagging him in this to let him know that he lost to... never mind. But yeah, so Scott Jennings continuing to slap these people around. Look, of course it's Robert F. Kennedy's fault for the demonization of places like the CDC and the NHS, the National Institute of Health, excuse me. It's not John Avlon's fault for saying that if you don't mask up, you're going to kill people. It's not John Avlon's fault for saying that if you don't get a vaccine, you're going to die. Still not vaccinated, still not dead. And I'm not exactly the healthiest person on the planet, for those of you who know me. I don't know. RFK Jr., 73 years old, and the man is in the best shape I think I've any person I've ever seen in the totality of my life. But John Avlon, he knows better. The rich guy from Sag Harbor, is it? Is he from Sag Harbor or is he from Manhattan? He still hasn't answered that question yet. He still hasn't let us know where he's from, which I do think is kind of funny. But that's probably why you lost. But when you're a Democrat and you lose your congressional race, what do? You get to go on television and give your opinions. It turns out only 45% of the congressional district gave a shit what you had to say, John Avlon. So now, naturally, you're going to go back on CNN and crawl up Abby Phillips' ass so that she can have you on TV to spout your nonsense. You lost. You and the guy with the perfect hair don't get to tell this administration what they should and should not do, who they should and should not appoint. Because, you see, here's the thing. I think I just say what was it? You lost. You lost, and not by a little bit, by a lot of bit. Don't worry, guys. Attorney General Gates, that'll fly by. So when Scott Jennings brings up the very obvious and clear-cut point that it turns out nobody in this position before this had any experience, the guy with the perfect hair and the 2 inches of makeup, he's got nothing to say. So 2 wrongs make a right? No. Turns out, if you look at every appointment Donald Trump has made so far, it is about a new vision. So when your friends ask you, why should Bobby Kennedy run the Department of Health? Why should Pete Hegseth run the Department of Defense? And why should Matt Gaetz be the Attorney General? And why should Tulsi Gabbard be the head of DNI? Because it's about a new way forward. The past is the past. They're done. And they just grab on to every last bit of power they can. And we saw it with the celebrity endorsements coming out. Now, I will not pretend there was not a time in this country when Oprah Winfrey said something, the majority of housewives around this country jumped. Let's be honest here. If it was 1997 and Oprah suggested a product, that product shot to the top of the market. If she suggested a book, that book went right to the top of the New York Times bestseller list. Even if it was like a billion little pieces and the whole book turned out to be total bullshit. Don't worry. Don't worry, Oprah. Nobody remembers that. Nobody also remembers the schools he funded in Africa that led to the rape of like 1,000 kids. But don't worry, nobody remembers that. Nobody remembers that. However, people will remember the fact that it cost Kamala Harris $1 million to get your endorsement. People will remember that. And what I think they might start to remember is Stephen A. Smith and his critique of Whoopi Goldberg, of Oprah Winfrey. Sorry about that. Before we get to that,
the biggest benefit, honestly, has been with my skin. Skin was more hydrated, more radiant.
This is the best superfood that you could take.
It has all the essential nutrients you need for your skin, your gut, energy, focus, mood, performance.
My hair has gotten so much thicker ever since taking this.
I used to have a probiotic, a green juice. I replaced it all with this Arma colostrum. It is amazing.
You gotta take it.
If you want to try it, try arma.com.
guys, start feeling better today with the superfood formula over at tryarmor.com/LFATV. That is tryarmor.com/LFATV to get 15% off your first order, guys. Look, you guys aren't getting the nutrients you need. Let's be honest. Head on over to tryarmor.com/LFATV. So, Stephen A., hey, look, some people don't like Stephen A. Smith. Look, there's no question in my mind. If they make a Mount Rushmore of sports broadcasters, Stephen A. Smith is on that list. Probably right next to John Madden, next to Vin Scully, next to that guy who called the Yankee games all those years, John Sterling. John Sterling? Number 2. You guys know who I'm talking about. Stephen A. Smith is going to be on that top 10 of all time, next to Stuart Scott, next to all those guys. He had some pretty harsh words for the once queen of daytime TV.
All these celebrities, Jennifer Lopez, Beyonce, Oprah.
If we don't show up tomorrow, it is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again.
You're going to look an audience in the face and you're going to tell them that if you vote for Donald Trump, you may not ever be able to cast a vote again. Who believed that? Who believed that coming from Oprah? Truly, who believed that? This is the kind of stuff that alienates an electorate, that alienates a vote or a voter. Because the freedom that you tell them they have, you try to confiscate morally by letting them know you ain't worth a damn unless you vote the way we say you should vote. Who's going to go for that in a general election with an economy rife with inflation, with over 12 million people coming crossing the borders, with people wondering about their dollars? The dollars that they earn, the dollars that they have in their pocket, the value of that dollar dissipating before our very eyes. But in the same breath, you're telling them that you got to take even more money out of their pocket to finance immigrants that come across the border illegally at the behest of the Democratic Party looking to secure a voting block. Did you think that would work? Did you think that would work?
Did you think that would work? I knew it wouldn't work. Truer words have never been said by Stephen A. Smith. And I disagree with him on politics in a big way a lot of different times. But look, when the man's right, the man's right. No question about it. No question about it. In just a second, guys, we are going to get to a pretty difficult story. Today began the trial of Laken Riley's killer. And we're going to play you guys the opening statement from that trial. Just a heads up. It's not going to be easy to listen to. It's not going to be easy to listen to. Mapping out that young woman's last few minutes on this earth. It's going to be hard to hear. But it is what needs to be shown. You guys know damn well I don't censor anything on this program because I think that the world needs to hear it. So we're going to play for you that in just a second. Before we do that, guys, head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That is your home base, your mothership, your landing pad for all things LFA TV related. Check out the LFA TV shop. Check out the LFA TV shop. That's the best way to support this network and everything we've got going on. We've got so much on-the-ground stuff happening over the course of the next several months. We can't do it without your help, guys. So go to lfatv.us. Consider becoming a monthly donor over here, lfatv.us. So, as I said, today began the trial of Laken Riley's killer. This is about 3.5 minutes long. It's not going to be easy to hear. But if we shelter ourselves from the truth, nothing will ever change.
On February 22nd, Jose Ibarra put on a black hat, a hoodie-style jacket, and some black kitchen-style disposable gloves, and he went hunting for females on the University of Georgia's campus. And in his hunt, he encountered 22-year-old Laken Riley on her morning jog. And when Laken Riley refused to be his rape victim, he bashed her skull in with a rock repeatedly. That is what this case is all about. The evidence will show that Laken fought. She fought for her life. She fought for her dignity. And in that fight, she caused this defendant to leave forensic evidence behind. She also marked her killer for the entire world to see. The forensic evidence that he left behind in this fight is his DNA, and only his DNA and Laken's, underneath Laken's right fingernails. He also left behind in a struggle with her over her phone, because the court will hear that she called 911. He left behind his left thumbprint on her iPhone, which was found not far from her body at the crime scene. And it is that forensic evidence alone that would give you enough evidence to find him guilty as charged on the counts in this indictment. But the evidence in this case will come in basically three forms. There'll be forensic evidence, there will be digital evidence, and there will be video evidence. And all three forms of those evidence will point to one person, Jose Ibarra, as the killer of Laken Riley. So the medical examiner, Laken was sent to GBI headquarters in Atlanta or Decatur, where Dr. DeMarco conducted an autopsy on her the very next day after her murder. What the medical examiner found is that Laken had a complex depressed skull fracture on the left side of her head, and she had 8 other lacerations on the left side of her head, which literally look like holes. She had a small subarachnoid hemorrhage on the right side of her head, and she had multiple abrasions to her face, her neck, and her torso. She also had what's called petechia in both eyes, which is consistent with some form of asphyxia. And asphyxia can come in many forms. It can be a drowning, but most importantly in this case, it can be a form of strangulation. It can be manual, it can be ligature, it can be all kinds of things. But what the medical examiner said in this case is that Laken Riley died as a result of the effects of blunt force trauma to the head and asphyxia NOS, not otherwise specified. She can't really say if it was from chest compressions, maybe manual strangulation, but there was something going on in this struggle where this defendant deprived her brain of oxygen for long periods of time. And that was her cause and manner of death.
And that was the cause of her death. That was the last few minutes of Laken Riley's life. Bring back public executions. Like, crucify this piece of shit in public. That's barbaric, Kevin. Don't say that. I don't care. I don't care. Bill Melugin of Fox News had even more gruesome details. And I want to thank Bill Melugin and Fox for covering this story as effectively and as consistently as they did, because you're not going to find this anywhere else. You're not going to find it on CNN. You're not going to find it on MSNBC. You're not going to find it on coming out of the mouths of bloviating jackasses on The View. Here is Bill Melugin.
Dana, it was really hard to listen to that opening statement from the prosecutor. The condition that Laken Riley's body was found in, the fact that her Garmin watch tracked the very moment her heart stopped. I can only imagine being her family. I think this just shows why we as a network made it such a priority to cover the border so much these last few years. These mass catch and release policies, they have consequences, real-world consequences that affect real people, particularly when it comes to the mass catch and release of Venezuelan men. I mean, how many live shots were we doing together in 2022, 2023, hundreds of them in Eagle Pass, in El Paso, watching these lines of hundreds upon hundreds of Venezuelan men just walking into the country, single file, every day, not running, not hiding, very nonchalant, because they knew they were going to be released into the country with a court date potentially years away. And the problem with that is you can't vet Venezuelan men. Venezuela does not cooperate with the U.S. We have no database, no records to run their names against. So what you're listening to right now with this horrible case with Laken Riley, unfortunately, it's not even an isolated incident. What happened just a few months later, Jocelyn Nungary was murdered in Houston, a 12-year-old girl allegedly sexually assaulted and murdered at the hands of two Venezuelan illegal aliens who had been caught and released at the Texas border just weeks prior. Sound familiar? Unfortunately, it's been happening all over the country, whether it's Tren de Aragua setting up footholds across the country, migrant crime happening in different cities across the country. The idea that what happens at the border stays at the border ended a long time ago. You look at Rachel Morin. She was murdered in Maryland. You look at Laken Riley, that happened in Georgia. Jocelyn Nungary was in Houston. These catch and release policies affect the entire country. And say what you want about Donald Trump and the way he campaigns, but at his rallies, he wasn't bringing celebrities up on stage. Who was he bringing up? Jocelyn Nungary's mom, Rachel Morin's mom. Real people who suffered horrible, horrible, horrible consequences as a result of these catch and release policies. I'll send it back to you.
Bill Melugin, it is interesting to imagine that you actually could have been standing right there, or Griff Jenkins could have been reporting to us on live shots as we watched people just stream across. And it's certainly possible that we were down there when he crossed over and before he came to New York. Bill Melugin, thank you so much.
Not even a little bit of remorse on that guy's face. Doesn't care one way or the other. Her Garmin watch tracked the very moment she died. And they're going to play that 911 tape in this case. And I'm going to play it on here, so that you can play it for all of your friends, so that you can ask them when they will let Jose Ibarra live with them in their neighborhoods, around their children. Because the Riley family didn't ask for this. I feel so bad for that family. It's out of control, man. And it's sad that this is happening on a national stage, but it needs to. We need to know the costs of not vetting people. Because let me explain something. You think this was the first time this guy did this? Of course not. It kills me. It absolutely kills me. But we're going to get to more of the news because I got to change the topic before I get upset. Before, guys, keep hitting that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. We're going to get to a teacher in Connecticut who's got a sob story that I don't give a shit about. I've got a message for her that, sweetheart, I live about, 40 miles from you. Come try it with me. Before we get to that, guys, look, did you ever want to own a pair of night vision binoculars but didn't because of how pricey they were? Look, you guys know that once night vision goggles become military grade, the price goes up, sometimes to over $4,000. Well, you can grab yours now for under $200 with our new sponsor, TacRite. Military night vision requires at least a little bit of light to work. TacRite night vision lets you see even in the pitch dark. Our viewers can get an amazing one-time discount. You can grab yours today for under $200. You don't even need a coupon code or anything like that. Just go to TacRiteLFA.com. That's TacRiteLFA.com. This would make a great Christmas gift for anybody who loves the outdoors, hunting, the military, or just feeling safe at night. Grab yours today because this offer will not last long. Guys, go to TacRiteLFA.com. That's TacRightLFA.com, guys. Go to TacRightLFA.com. Check that out. So, there's a teacher in Connecticut following the Donald Trump win who basically threatened everyone she knows that she's going to kill them. And she got into a little bit of trouble, naturally, as one would. And then she went on local media and pissed and moaned and cried about it. We'll have some fun with her after I show you.
If you voted for Trump, literally, please delete me, block me, get rid of everything of me, or step to me so that I know what's up and then I can handle you how I see fit. Just because you won doesn't mean we don't remember who the blank you voted for. You're not in the clear. Please, please don't test your gangster on me because you will end on a stretcher, gone forever. What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, so
it
that
sounds like a threat.
It sounds very extreme. And again, I was in a moment of high emotions and I shouldn't have ever posted the video. But what the message I was trying to get across, and it came off very wrong, was, if this is going to give people the almost permission in their minds to enact violence against women or anybody, I wanted to basically just say, I'm not going to go down without a fight. I mean, it's my life's dream to be a teacher. I consider those kids my kids because I don't have any of my own. And they fill that for me. And it's so fulfilling. It's so rewarding. And I know that what people see right now, I don't look like that person, but I truly would do anything to help any child and any family in need.
Just because you won doesn't mean we don't remember who the you voted for. You're not in the clear. And just please, please don't test your gangster on me because you will end on a stretcher, gone forever.
Don't test your gangster on me. First off, fat white woman from Connecticut, tell me about your gangster. Tell me about the gangster you got in you. Because I don't know if you know this, annoying woman from Connecticut, you're like 50 miles away from where I'm currently sitting. So bring your stretcher, sweetheart, and let me know how that goes. Number two, I love those kids like they're my own because I don't have any of my own. They're not your kids, okay? You're there to teach them how to count. You're there to teach them how to read. They're not your children. So, you can take your sob excuse and you can stick it right up your ass. As a matter of fact, stick it as far up there as you possibly can. Let me know how far you got, and then we'll see if we can get it up there even farther while you go on TV and cry for your job. Now, will this woman be fired? Probably not. You know why? Because of things like the teachers union. Well, she said it in a moment of emotion. So then we just need to forget that it actually happened. No. That is not someone showing any contrition. That is somebody trying to save their own ass. If you live in Connecticut, that might be one of your kids' teachers. It's not a very big state. She might teach at your kid's school. And if she does teach at your children's school and you're watching this, we got about 10,000 people who are going to tune into this, 10, 15,000 people that'll tune into this. Give me a call, and I will send your child as much Trump merchandise as they can physically wear on their body. I'll send it to them for free. I'll even walk them to school. Just for the hell of it. Just for the hell of it. It's people like that that need to be excised. It's people like that that need to lose their job. This woman has no business being a teacher. None at all. But what are you going to do? Can't fire her. Here on Long Island, it's virtually impossible to fire a teacher because of the strength of the teachers union. As a matter of fact, a study came out a couple years ago that showed that it costs more than $2 million to fire a teacher on Long Island. Basically, all you've got to do to keep your job as a teacher is not sleep with a student. That woman won't lose her job. Virtually nothing will happen to her. She can be as rude as humanly possible. She can threaten people. She can lie, cheat, steal. Nothing will happen. Threaten to kill. And tell me about your gangster lady. You're probably from, like, Greenwich. Oh, yeah, Thug Nasty up there in East Greenwich with the hedge fund millionaires. Tell me about how gangster you are. You know the old saying, everybody thinks they're a gangster till a gangster shows up. Just saying. Just saying. Guys, I got one more story I want to get to. We're going to laugh at this one. Today's been a tough show with the Laken Riley stuff. I know. Guys, but before we get to that, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. We got all this Christmas stuff. You guys are not going to want to miss out on this. Let's be honest. All the good Christmas merchandise up there. We got ugly sweaters. We got the new Loud Majority t-shirt. We also have this new hoodie in stock. It is from the Trump Snowflake Removal Company. That is going to be a hot selling item at all of your upcoming holiday parties. So, can I make this bigger? Let me see if I can. Can I make this bigger? Yeah. So this is the exclusive sweatshirt from the Trump Snowflake Removal Company. You guys are definitely going to want to pick that up and wear it to Christmas, Thanksgiving. Why the hell not? Because, we won, and they really got nothing to say. Nothing to say. Guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. Use promo code LFA to get 20% off everything on the website. That's promo code LFA to get 20% off everything on the website. So, I promised you we were going to laugh before the end of the show. And, we had a good week, so we're going to giggle together. Something happened in New Zealand. And I don't know anything about New Zealand. I don't know their politics. I know that they have a radically left-wing government. But apparently, there was some bill that got put up in the New Zealand parliament. And one side of the political aisle was very upset with it. And they responded in an interesting way. look, I don't know what the hell that bill is, but I'm voting against it too. I'm voting way against that. If that's your reaction to something, okay, you win. We don't have to vote for that. Take it to a 9, guys. Jeez. Guys, we will be back on Monday. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in all week. We've had a hell of a lot of fun this week. We have gloated in our victory. We have gloated in our victory. It is a good time. Giddy up. Let's go. Guys, hit that thumbs up button on the way out the door. LFA to the moon. Guys, loudmajorityusa.com. Promo code LFA. 20% off. Get it. Got it. Good. Stay loud, everybody.